Evening and welcome to this week's episode of It's My Turn Now. Well, we made it to the second month of the year. It's February already. Can you believe it? I want to welcome you to this week's episode of It's My Turn Now. Want you to invite your friends, let them know that It's My Turn Now is on the air. This is the month of February. A lot of exciting things that are going on in the month of February. We have Black History Month. We have Valentine's Day, President's Day. A lot of things are going on. Uh, for this month, I'm going to talk about different things dealing with relationships, good relationships, bad relationships, challenges in relationships. For the month of February, it's going to deal with some type of relationship. And so on tonight, it's open mic. We're talking about relationship emotions that are we deal with in relationship, good emotions, negative emotions, jealousy. I deal with a lot of emotions, and on this time of year. God bless us, Walden. I appreciate you. She's always on each week. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for sharing. She said she shared. I want to encourage you, share it. Let them know that your friends, family know this might turn out on the air. So when we think about February, think about relationships, and not only relationships of couples, but individuals. There's all types of dynamics involving relationships, and so I just want to talk about that. And I want you to share your thoughts with me. Since Walden said, "Praise the Lord to everyone." I want you to share your thoughts with me. Any situation, any type of relationship you want to talk about, we want to deal with it on tonight um, because that's something we don't normally deal with. As some of you know, my wife and I, we do relationship seminars, and relationships can be very, very difficult. Sometimes we don't realize it takes time, it takes investments, even relationships with your friends. Sometimes people have friends that are needy, and their friends are constantly dependent on them. There's always that person who has a hard time saying no to a friend, and it can be difficult to say no to a friend. But sometimes you just have to learn how to set boundaries in any type of relationship. You know, you must learn how to set boundaries. If you don't set boundaries in any type of relationship, you'll find out that you will have an unhealthy relationship. So you want to make sure that you set those boundaries in the relationship. And then sometimes people have relationships where they may have a friend that there's just wants you to be their only friend. So they find that they get jealous if you have another friend. They think someone else is getting closer to you than they are. And believe it or not, that's something that happens in a lot of friendships. And so the one friend that's needy or gets jealous of the other friend, they get mad at you, and then they become distant with you because they are threatened by the relationship. But people need to know that you can have relationships with more than one person. You can be friends. You can have more than one friend. Sometimes people say, "I just have my best friend." You can have a number of friends, and it doesn't mean that you have to have this one person. Then, two, in some relationships, people want you. It's all or nothing, all in or nothing. That if I want you to be friends with who I'm friends with and who I'm not a friend with, I don't want you to be their friend. And so I hope we don't have anybody. But talk about if that's where you feel. Let us know. We want to hear what you have to say about that. But I do not subscribe to that. If you follow the person, does not mean I have to follow the person. I have a right to pick choose who I want to be friends with. And I think everyone has a right to choose. And sometimes people are afraid to be friends with one person because if I'm a friend of this person right here, I'm going to offend someone else. And of course, that happened back in the Bible days. Remember, Peter was with the Gentiles, and soon as his Jewish friends came around, all of a sudden he withdrew himself. So this is nothing new. The Bible says nothing new under the sun. That the is, that there was, there was, that shall be. So there's nothing new under the sun. But I want to talk to you a little bit about relationship. Tell me, a lot of times I talk to people, they say, I don't have any good friends. Um, I wonder how many of you out there have a friend, have maybe at least one good friend. Because some people say, I have some people say, I don't have any good friends. Because we know, again, if you go back to scriptures, scripture said, he that, or I'll say he or she, but it says, he that has friends must show themselves friendly. And I wonder to ask yourself, how friendly are you to other people? Do you go out your way to be nice to people? Or are you kind of caught up in your own little world? Tell me. I think the Lord, it's a lot warmer than it was this time last week. Uh, but it was so cold, bitter cold. And so We all can be kind of susceptible to cold, so I'm drinking a little. My wife fixed me some tea, and so I'm drinking that. I'm trying to ward off a cold, but that kind of season. So I want to know what your thoughts are on relationships. Let me know what type of relationship, and especially when we come around Valentine's Day, I want to open this up to everybody because sometimes people feel like, and that can be very challenging, especially for a person who's single. There's that thing that you have to feel that you have to be connected with someone. And so I want to share with someone, even if you're single, you don't have to connect with someone. Um, People have different ideas when it comes to, God bless you, Larkin says, show yourself friendly. You don't have to be connected with someone. And sometimes people will just get with someone on during the Valentine's Day so that they can say I was with someone. And so that's not necessarily something that you have to do. And then there's some individuals that can be dating if they're not in a serious relationship. I've heard individuals break off a relationship around Valentine's Day and certain holidays because they don't want the obligation of having, and that's a cheapskate, So they don't want the obligation to have to buy someone something on Valentine's Day. And then we ask ourselves a question. We're going to be talking about this different type of relationships all month long, but is there pressure? Do you feel the pressure? If you're married or single or whatever, do you feel the pressure on Valentine's Day that you have to do more? I wonder about that. Sometimes we make a big to do out of Valentine's Day. Everybody gets chocolate, stores or run out of chocolates. I looked in the stores back last month. They have Valentine cards and candies and things like that. I think it's good to be nice to folks. There's nothing wrong with being nice to folks. But do you feel obligated? Do you do out of a sense of obligation, or do you because you want to do it? That's the question I want to ask. And do you make plans for Valentine's Day, or just are you just kind all year round? I think I have my opinion on that, but I want to hear what your thoughts are. What are your thoughts about relationships and your friends, your family? Sometimes even when we're dealing with relationships, sometimes we have challenging relationships even within our families. Sometimes there's a family member that's kind of hard to deal with, and everyone finds a challenge to deal with. And so, these are dynamics that are in house. Everybody's not the same. Two people can be brought up the same in the same household and have totally different ideologies, totally different ways of thinking. And so I remember when I was teaching at the Bible college, we taught a subject nature or nurturing. Was biological and what is affected by your surrounding. God bless you, Jones. Listen, I talked to your uncle, and I think he may have forgotten to tell me to give you a number because I just heard just the other week that you were here in Indianapolis. I was asking about you, so I told him to give you your number. So if you can inbox your number, give you a call and check on you. Just see how you're doing. I'm glad to see that you're doing better. But my prayers have been with you. So God bless you. So tell me, maybe you're expert. What are your thoughts on relationships? Any type of relationships? What's considered a healthy relationship? What's considered unhealthy relationship? All right, God bless you. Yes, sir. Well, I want to hear some thoughts now. What are your thoughts on here? Those on here. What are your thoughts about relationships? How everybody views relationships different. Some people are ride and die, and some people. And I wrote a book called "Window to Building Healthy Relationships." I think I have the book right here. It's called "The Window to Understanding and Building Healthy Relationships." And one of the things I talk about in this book right here is very good book. The book is an easy read. It's only, let me see how many. This is one of the. This is my second book I wrote. This right here only has 50 pages. You can read this in one setting. But I deal with different types of relationships, and what people don't realize is there's different attachment styles. So sometimes people wonder why I have a hard time relating to one person. Everybody's not the same. Some people are real friendly, and some people are outgoing, and some people are reserved. Some people are just can't handle that. And sometimes that we say opposites attract. So sometimes a introverted person will be attracted to an extroverted person. But what happens when they get together, that they kind of revert back to their old ways. That introverted person, they may be offended at the extroverted person because they say you're too sociable. Let's see what my good friend says. God bless Sister Jones said, my husband and I don't feel obligated to celebrate Valentine's Day because we show our love for each other every day. This is our mutual agreement. We work on our marriage every day. That's awesome. I think that's the way it should be. But, and it's good that you feel comfortable about that, but there are a lot of people that, and I hear all the time, that they feel pressured into feeling that I have to give my wife or I have to give my husband something for Valentine's Day. And I will be honest with you, most time it's the wife. Most time it's the wife that feels that she need. And I know a lot of couples, as you said, Sister Jones, that feel the same way. I think that's great. There's a lot of couples I hear, a lot of men, they're pressured to get their wife something for Valentine's Day. And when we think about, if you really think about it, Sister Walden said, Sean Jones loved this. When you really think about it, it's a rough situation to feel that you have to give somebody something. And how can you sum up? Are we supposed to sum up our feelings for a person one day? You can't do that. You cannot sum up your feelings, how you feel about a person one day. So is that something that's unrealistic expectation? So I think it's good. This is just, I think we should strive to show as much love and affection, kindness to our spouse or whoever we're talking to, and then on your family. I mean, I have sisters. Some of my sisters have gone, but I would send my sisters Valentine's Day cards. So it doesn't have to be kindness towards somebody that you're dating, going with. It's just a time to remind you of just being good. I have no problem with any holiday or anything that reminds me, because sometimes we can take for granted. Most of us are able to do it all the time, but sometimes we take it for granted. But anything that reminds me, hey, let's just take some time out to let somebody know that you value them. And as I like again with Sir Johnson, it's something we should do all the time. But sometimes we get caught up in life, the challenges of life, and we sometimes take each other for granted. And I think that a lot of people are guilty of that. Sometimes take relationships for granted. You take friendships for granted. You take your friends for granted. How many of us really let our friends know that we appreciate them? You have people that are there for you, people that ride and die. Do you let them know I value this friendship? I'm just not talking about just on Valentine's Day. I'm just talking about across the board in life in general, because we're talking about relationships. Do you let your friends know that you value them? Most of my friends know. I have a few friends that I'm very close to, and most of them know each year I get them a birthday card. That's just me. And some of them are just remembering what month my birthday is in after 25, 30, 40 years of friendship, 50 years. I have some friends I've had for 50 plus years. I have one friend, I call him every year. We've been friends since I was 8 or 9 years old. I may not hear from the rest of the time, but just reach out. Sometimes when it comes to friendship, you can make those little small connections. You don't have to go into a whole lot. Just to make small connection. Call a friend up and let them know, because you never know what person's going through. Call your friend, especially if they are considered your friend. And my question, I guess, I ask you, what constitutes a friend? Who do you consider a friend? Because a lot of us have associates, but who do you consider to be a friend, or what? And I don't want to say this say it's wrong, but what are your requirements? If you say this person your good friend, what is? And I hate to say what are your requirements, because it sounds like an application for a job, but consciously, subconsciously, we have in our mind what we expect from a friend, whether you want to admit to it or not. There are certain expectations that you have for a friend, and there's some, and to be realistic, there's nothing wrong with that, because there's some things that you should say, well, if this is a person's friend, there's something I don't expect a person to do who is my friend. I don't expect a person who I can't trust to be my friend. I can't expect a person who, if I say something to you and I'm going to hear it and they say I just can't help myself, then I really question that friendship. Now, I'm not saying I have some associates that I know if I say something to them, they're going to share it. that we're associates. I know it. And the thing about it, they really don't do it to be malicious. There's some people that's just who they are. That and you know who they are. Scripture said, "Know them that labor among you, especially your friends." You need to know who your friends are before you put that label on a person as your friend. You need to know who they are. Those saying association breeds assimilation. That means when you associate with the person for long enough, you'll start acting like that person. So then you have to ask yourself, what type of people am I going to associate with if there's a possibility over a period of time that some of their tendencies are going to affect me? What type of person am I going to have? Just as Walton said, it's my turn now. With the immediate family, our three, we always share Valentine's Day cards with our daughters as well. We have been doing this for years, and of course, I'm sure she loves what is inside the card. That's true. So, Valentine's Day doesn't have to be going back to Valentine's. It doesn't have to be just this is a time that you got to hook up with somebody. It's just a time, I think, to show kindness toward people who are special in your life. People spend that time toward people special in life, and again, it's just like many other things. Valentine's Day has been commercialized, but outside of Valentine's Day, how often do you take the time? Could be your wife, your husband, your children, a friend. How often do you take the time to do something special other than a holiday? Because we all like when people do nice things for us. Outside those days, do you take the time out to do something? Well, I want to take a moment. I want to give a shout out to my brother-in-law, Brother UZ Tinker. If anybody sees Brother UZ Tinker, his birthday is today. So Sheila Woodson, her birthday today. Just want to shout out to them, let them say happy birthday to them while I'm thinking about it. And so my brother-in-law, I call him up, family, I call him up, wish him happy birthday. It's just a little kind. It doesn't take much to show kindness to someone, and someone really, kindness is appreciated. We like when people do nice things for us, but how often are we willing to go out of our way to do something nice to somebody else? My cousin, Ron Alexander, his birthday's today as well. If you see Ron Alexander, the barber, little Ron, we call him, wish him a happy birthday as well. How many times, and Lisa Rich as well. There's a number of people, friends that have birthdays. And there's sometimes you don't have to be in a person's face all the time for them to be your friends. Sometimes people feel like because I'm your friend, I have to be in your face all the time. I have to be on the phone all the time. You don't have to be on the phone all the time with people. You don't have to be in the face all the time. Like I said, you don't have to be in your friend's business either. See, sometimes people lose friendship because they're intrusive and they're into their friend's business. They feel like they have to tell. I tell a friend of mine, and he knows who he is. I said, your opinion. Sometimes, if I want your opinion, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to ask you for it. Because you got some folks that always want to give you an opinion, always want to give you their opinion. So and that depends on the type of relationship that you have with somebody. Because sometimes people, if you have to be close to somebody and you should be close to somebody to feel comfortable that I'm going to just give them my opinion, what I think about something, because you can offend somebody by giving them opinion. You have to analyze and know what type of relationship you have with people. There are some people that I can talk to about anything. And there's some people I listen. I know they don't want to be bothered, and I don't mess with them because I don't have to be in everybody's business. And then back to the subject about jealousy. There's some folks that just, jealousy. I wonder a question if you're on here. Is there more jealousy folks in the church or out of the church? Because there's a whole lot of spirits of jealousy out there. There's some folks have a friend, don't want nobody to talk to them. There's people that don't value their relationship, and they won't value you until they see someone else getting close to you. As soon as they get someone else close to you, then all of a sudden, now they want to change that attitude. They do not value you until they see an interest in someone else. And there's a lot of, and ladies, there are a lot of men out there. They won't show you any attention But the minute they see somebody else showing you a little attention, next thing you know, they want to talk to you. I didn't notice you. And I don't know if that's human nature. Sometimes, you don't realize how special someone is until you see somebody else talking to them. And so sometimes you don't value what you have until somebody else has it. It's almost like the little kid mentality. When little kids, they have a little toy and they can have a room full of toys, and they invite a friend over, and the friend, all of a sudden, friend picks out one little toy. It might be the smallest toy in the group, and all of a sudden the child, those I said the child, all of a sudden that's a toy that they want. You can play with these other toys, but not this. And that's the type of mentality some folks have. Until they don't want it, until they see that you're interested, and all of a sudden they're interested in it. And that's a bad thing about relationships. As I've counseled many couples, and it's not until, I hate to say it, a lot of times it's the men, most of the time, it's not until the lady says, I'm through, I'm done, give me one more chance, I'm serious, I won't do anything. And they have been warning them for years that you got to do better, you got to step up. And the moment that she's lose interest in him and he realizes she's no longer interested, now all of a sudden he wants to make up. He wants to make up for her. And sometimes it's because they genuinely have not appreciated what they have. And then sometimes you have people that are narcissistic, and they don't want you, and they don't want nobody else to have you. That's a whole different topic right there. And so then again, you got to understand, you have to recognize those signals. You got to be recognized as someone is genuinely interested in you or not. And one of the things I talk about when I'm talking and counseling people, and especially people who have been hurt in relationships, they said, how can I know that this is going to work? And the thing about it is, you've got, those saying, look before you leap. You got to invest time and energy and prayer. And sometimes you may have to check somebody's background. Nowadays, you got to check people's background. I'm sorry. I've heard people say, well, I don't think I want to check out the background. I want to trust. Well, listen, you have to do diligence. And with times we live in now, find out about the person. And I don't have any objection to telling the person, check out the person's credit report. If you're going to marry somebody, you're going to connect with somebody, check out their credit report. And if it's bad, I'm not saying you don't talk to them because it's bad, but you need to know that. You need to know that status. There are certain things that you need to know about a person before you commit yourself to them. Where you're getting married, dating, or what. Know about the person. Have they been in jail? If they have good credit, if their credit's bad, and sometimes people have bad credit, it's not their fault. They may get laid off the job, but it's just because they just don't like to pay bills. Some people don't like to pay bills. Unfortunately, they don't like to pay bills. Some people like to they get paid, they put the money in their pocket, and they want to put in the bank. Some folks like to gamble. They get paid and they go straight to bingo. They go straight to the casino. I knew an individual that once when they got paid, they would go straight to bingo. The whole check and lose the whole check. So these are type of relationships. So even if you're dating a person, or even that's the type of friend, you have to ask yourself, do I want a friend that's going to constantly be dependent on me? Because sometimes people latch on to you because they want what you have. They latch on you because I've heard people say they go to larger churches so they can network. It's not about the preacher. It's not about anything else. I want to be able to network. I can get clients. I talked to Barbara one time. Barbara told me, when I look out in the crowd, I see heads. They think of dollars. So people will attach themselves to you for different reasons, and you need to understand. And you need to understand why is this person attaching themselves to me. Sometimes people attach themselves to you. They never spoke to you, and they'll attach themselves to you when they want to borrow some money. I need to borrow some money. Well, I tell folks now, my borrowing days is over. I'm not lending nobody no money, because that's a no-win situation. Because if they ask you for money and you don't, then they're upset because you didn't. And if you loan to them and they don't pay you back, then they get upset with you. Notice I didn't say you get upset with them. They get upset with you, even though they haven't paid you back, because they're feeling guilty because they're not paying you back. In their mind, they're thinking that you're looking at them kind of funny But because they know they haven't paid you, and they're hoping you just go away, that you just disappear. And so there are a lot of types of relationships, and so you need to ask yourself, what type of relationship are you having, and be careful who you connect yourself with. Um, they do say opposites attract, but like I was saying earlier, sometimes extrovert person will be attracted to an introverted person, but after a while, the introverted person can sometimes be jealous when they see that extroverted person. They're so friendly, they're talking to everybody else, and then they feel some type of way because of that. And so then the extroverted person kind of feels some kind of way because, hey, this person right here is just wants to be themselves. And then there's some people that are clingy. They're clingy. It's all about us. I want you to be with nobody else but me. So there's different type of relationships. So then you have the person that's jealous. There's like I said, back to the jealous person. They don't want you to talk to nobody. They don't want you to be with nobody. If you're doing something, sometimes, unfortunately, like I said, I deal with a lot of relationships. I deal with people, and I have a sense of discernment. I remember, I've dealt with clients who cheating. They cheat, and I can pretty much tell when I talk to them they cheating. And unfortunately, a lot of times when the person is cheating, they're the ones that are most jealous of the other person, and the accusatory person always accuses. I saw you looking funny at that guy. Why are you talking to him? Who you talking to? What you doing? And they are the ones that are cheating. And I've seen it both ways. I've seen it for men, and I've seen it for the ladies. We living in a new day, y'all. We live in a new day. The women are cheating just as much, if not nowadays, than the men are. I'm just amazed at, but again, it takes two to tango. So, these are things that you have to talk. And, you have to be careful because everybody's not honest. When you're talking to someone may put on a good front, but sometimes know the person, find out about the person before you get with them, because people can portray themselves as one way today, and tomorrow is a totally different person. So tell me, I want to know, somebody, what do you think about a relationship? Um, do you have a good friend? Do you have a good friend that you feel comfortable talking to and sharing things with? And how much should you share with a friend? Can you be totally transparent, or are there some things that you may not feel comfortable telling everybody, or some things maybe you shouldn't tell a person? Then there's sometimes people question, can you have a friend of the opposite sex? Is that prudent? Is that wise? Can you do that? Those are some interesting questions. Those are questions that I often entertain. I've had people, share with me, and they ask me those questions. And especially when we do relationship seminars, my wife and I, a lot of times we're hit with questions like that. People are asking like that, certain things, and it's just amazing because you just really never know a person until you get close to them. But there's a lot of different sides to people, and you really don't know them, and it takes time. A lot of times people get married, and I tell people, I perform a number of wedding ceremonies, but I tell people I will not perform a wedding ceremony unless I do premarital counseling, because for years I've done premarital counseling. I have never performed a premarital counseling. I do about 6 weeks, and every time I've done it, I've had a couple say, you know what, I hadn't thought about that. There's always something that arises that the couple has not thought about. So you don't want to just get with anybody. Just I think when preachers say breath and britches, you don't want to just get with somebody because you just don't know. And so people say, "Oh, I'm in love." Everybody's in love when they talk about getting married. Everybody's in love. I used to be a wedding photographer. Not only that, the way I used to be a wedding photographer, and I remember this is the worst situation I've ever been in. It got off to a rocky start. I got there early, hour early. Normally I get there 2 hours, but I got there hour early to take the pictures. And when I walk in, the reverend is performing the ceremony. You heard me right. An hour early, the reverend was performing the ceremony, and he said, "I gotta go out of town. And I'm sorry, and I've never seen a mess in my life." And I took the pictures. I stayed past the reverend. I stayed along the reverend taking pictures. But by the time the pictures got back, the couple had separated, split. By the time the pictures got back, people sometimes jump into relationships without thinking about them. There's some people that are afraid of relationship. They are afraid to commit, and so that could be a rough situation because sometimes people are afraid to commit, and then if you try to uh, talk them or press them into committing, um, then there's challenges there. But then you have to find out why were they afraid of. Some people are just afraid, just afraid, and when you were talking about getting married, there's a challenge. I remember when I was thinking about getting married, I said, "Am I able to do this?" Right, I was a young man, thinking, "Am I able? Am I ready to do this? Am I prepared?" So there was some ambivalence about that. It's not because of who she was, but because of myself. Think about the responsibility. Jones said, one of my sister-in-law is my good friend. She's one that is transparent with me in her life. I'm about mine. Some friends want to know all your business and not share theirs. She's not like that. It's nice to be able to have someone other than my husband I can open up to and without judging. That's true. I think, Sister Jones, I think we need good friends. I have some good friends, and my wife knows who my friends are, and I have different friends that I can talk about this person about politics, this person about religion. I can talk to this person. So you have to know who you're able to talk to. But I do have some that I can talk to about anything, and I know who I can talk to. I know who I can't talk to. But you're saying right, and that's why sometimes when you have healthy relationships, it's good sometimes for couples to get together in a healthy atmosphere. Because sometimes what I found out is that sometimes you may be going through something. The devil make you think that you're the only couple. Your couple is the only one that's having some challenges. You look at someone else and say, "Oh, well, that's not, that's not unusual. Just not something that I just deal with. It's just something couples deal with." And so it's normal. There's some things, but if you're not careful, you're looking at it from one side. You think, "Well, I'm the only one doing it. He's the only one doing it. She's the only one doing that." For like that. And I found out 90% of women, most women like to spend money. Most relationship women like to shop. Most. But guess what? There are a lot of men that just like to shop, and I think it's bad. It's bad when a man, a man that likes to shop a whole lot more than that usually goes bad real quick because um, men tend to spend more. Now, I used to get on my wife about shopping. I said, "Hey, you always shopping?" She used to love to shop until one day she said, "Well, you know what? I don't shop as much as you do, but when you do shop, you buy big ticket items like electronics and things like that." And I had to say, "You know what?" I started thinking about it. I said, you're right," and she's right. Sometimes we don't see ourselves; we see somebody else. You know, and that's another thing too in relationship. You got to be able to be honest and be honest with your flaws and admit your flaws. When she told me that, I started thinking. I said, "You know what, honey, you're right." And so sometimes people are not willing to be honest with themselves. Oh, saying to their own self be true. You got to learn how to be honest with yourself, and you got to be willing to say, "I'm sorry." Don't. What hurts a lot of relationships is people are afraid to be honest with themselves, afraid to say, "I'm sorry" when I'm wrong. Uh, you know, don't if you're wrong, you're wrong, be able to admit when you're wrong. And if you're married, you should be able to humbly accept someone's apology when they say they're wrong, and not rub in their face and say, and that's a friend. Period. If you have a friend that I've had friends that I've fallen out with, and when I say falling out, we ain't get mad. We just disagree or something, and I might dismiss myself from them. They may not hear from me. I'm not gonna ball them. I'm not gonna talk, but they may not hear from it. And so then they may say, "You know what?" So they realize that something's wrong. They'll come to me and they say something wrong, and we'll talk, and we're still friends. But one thing I will not do, because I'm your friend, we fall. I'm not gonna go around and talk about you. So, see, some people you have to be careful too sharing things with friends, because sometimes you share, person be your friend today may not be your friend tomorrow, and that's why you have to make sure you have the right friend, because the person you talk to today, and they're not your friend tomorrow. Now you done told all your secrets and everything like that, and you got somebody that's not have integrity. They're sharing everything you said, all your secrets that you said, and so I tell couples sometimes, um, if you get upset with your spouse, don't go talking about them, bashing them to somebody else. Because I've seen couples, they go to a friend, they talk about They talk about, a wife might talk about a husband like a dog. Husband might talk about a wife like a dog. And now your friend who you were close to, now they looking at them cross-eyed. Now y'all ain't got back together. You ain't forgiven them, but guess what? They have all that in their mind. You sure you can do this? And they're thinking in their mind. So you do not, be careful what you say to other people. Be careful what you say. Again, because you don't know, you don't know who's going to be your friend tomorrow. So you have to know who you select as your friend. And because person your friend, you don't have to tell them everything about you. You can be selective in what you share with your friends. And then you have to realize everybody can't handle certain things. Everybody can't handle things. There's some people that they're empathetic with other people. And there's some people that's hard and callous. You tell them so did something, but I wouldn't take that. I don't. And then they harden their cows because that's their personality. Where someone else will say, just be kind with, just be understanding, just share with them. And so you need to know, because who your friends are. Sometimes your friends are the ones that you're going to take advice from. And so you have to realize, am I taking advice from a good source or a negative? Is this person, and does this person have enough experience that they can tell me what to do? Because some folks would tell you what they would do, but they ain't done nothing. They ain't been anywhere. How are you going to tell me what to do if you haven't done anything? You haven't been anywhere. But you got a whole lot of advice. And so you have to be careful who you get advice from. You can't just get advice from everybody. Folks will give you all kind of advice. But they may not apply it to themselves. So be careful who you listen to. Be careful who has your ear, because sometimes people give you some bad advice. I've seen relationships where a sister talk about her husband. He ain't no good. He's this and he's that. And the girl say, if I was you, I'd leave him. And she had edged him on to leave. Next thing you know, they had broke up. And guess who she ends up talking to? Well, honey, if you gave him a good man, that's on you. You got to be very careful when you talk. Relationships will be very, very different dynamics to relationships. You have to be very careful to talk to the relationships that you have, because a good relationship will make you stronger. A bad relationship, and you don't need a relationship that doesn't add value to you. Is not a healthy relationship. I'm gonna say it again. A relationship does not add value to you is not a healthy relationship. If you go away from a person and when you get finished talking to them, you feel bad and you feel sad, there's something wrong with their relationship, because you shouldn't feel that way. You should feel good. And they say this, that when you have a conversation with a person, they may see you years down the line. They may not remember what you said, but they remember how you felt, how you made them feel. And so there are people that I meet, and I can't remember the conversation, but I remember where they made me feel good, they made me feel bad, or whatever about the relationship. And so I remember that. And so how do you make people feel when they're around you? And then sometimes you say, I don't have any friends, but how do people feel? Are you endearing to people? Do you show kindness? Do you have a smile? Are you critical? Are you judgmental? How do you make people feel around you? And like Sister Jones said, her sister-in-law, she's non-judgmental. Sometimes people judge everything you do, every decision you make. You don't need that. In no relationship do you want somebody that's going to judge you or criticize, constantly criticize you, constantly critiquing everything that you do. We all human. We're going to make some mistakes. In this life, we don't make mistakes. Preachers make mistakes. We all make mistakes. And even the preachers in relationship, pastor has to realize, ministers, pastors, preachers, we have to realize we're not perfect. Preachers make mistakes. I tell you one mistake preachers make in relationship, you have to know when to set boundaries. If you're not a licensed marriage therapist or a therapist or counselor or trained in that area, sometimes you need to know, say, listen, this is out of my league. I've got to refer you to someone else. I'm not a mechanic. Somebody comes to me and say, Pastor, something wrong with my car. I have worked on some cars years ago since I worked on cars. I used to put brakes on cars, things like that. I couldn't put anything on because the cars have changed so much. And so I would tell someone, hey, I will refer you to someone. If people have emotional problems, sometimes you got to pray for them, but sometimes you need to refer them to a counselor. If people have a marriage problem, every pastor is not qualified to counsel counsel couples. They're just not. They're just not. And so we've got to know our limitation. When you have a relationship, you need to know your limitation. You need to know where your boundaries. Again, it's back to setting boundaries. In any relationship, set boundaries. Sometimes people feel like they can talk to you any kind of way. No, you can't, because you're my friend. I mean, you can just talk to me any kind of way. No, you got to respect me. I've got to respect you. I can't just say anything and say, oh, honey, I was just kidding. No, some stuff don't need to be said. So, you got relationship friends, you have to watch what you say. And then sometimes people can be offended what you say and not even get back with you. To me, I think that's a level of immaturity. If someone offends me, I'm going to let them know. You're going to know that you offend me. I'm going to let you know. I'm not going to ball you out, but I'm going to say, you know what? I may call you to the side. I'm not going to say in front of somebody, but what you said was very offensive to me. And let's talk about that. But a sign of immaturity is when you hold things in and you don't say anything to anybody. The Bible says this right here. The Bible says, if you go to leave your gift at the altar, remember your brother has ought against you, say leave your gift at the altar and be reconciled. In other words, with the scripture saying, if you know there's some type of conflict, and it says if your brother has ought against you, but the principle behind that is if there's conflict in a relationship, where on whoever side is, then a true child of God, a mature child of God is going to talk about that. Sometimes people get mad at you and never say a word to you. That's not spiritual. It's not God. It's not mature. You got to be mature enough to just go to a person and say, listen, I'm not talking to you, and this is why I'm not talking to you. This offended me. But at least be mature enough to say that. I think that's a level of maturity. And so sometimes people just don't grow up. We need to learn how to grow up. We need to learn how to be mature in relationship. And sometimes people expect more from you than they're willing to do for you. So we have to be careful that what type of expectation are you expecting the world from your friends? You can't expect everything from your friends. You want to expect them to do everything for you. No, they don't have to do everything. And allow your friend the option to say no and not get offended. Sometimes people make choices and they have to make choices out of their own consciousness. And wherever your conscience allows you, where you feel comfortable doing, then make that decision. But don't get mad at me because, I'm saving my money and you want to splurge your money and then you need to borrow money from me. Don't get mad at me because I'm not going to do it. Because this is what I tell people, because I hear it all the time in counseling. Many times people want to make their problem your problem. I'm sorry that you have a problem, but I cannot allow your problem to be my problem. Don't allow their problem be your problem. Don't let somebody else's problem be your problem. Now you can't sleep because you're worrying about their problem. You can't, if you can't do anything about it, so I'm gonna pray for it, give it to God and leave it alone. But don't stress out. Listen, we all have enough of our own problems. Ain't no sense in us getting stressed out on somebody else's problem. I'm not getting stressed out on somebody else's problem. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't have time. I don't have the time to get frustrated. As one of the things I learned when I first started counseling, take a person's problem, deal with it, and move on. Man, if I took on every problem I heard, especially when you counsel people, man, I wouldn't get any sleep. I learned how to give it to God. Give it to God. Don't make somebody else's problem your problem. Learn how to give it to God. You give the best advice you can and let it go. And what I do many times, I will say this right here, in a relationship, I tell people, don't tell people what to do. People say, what do you think I should do? I'll turn back on, what do you think you should do? Because what happens is when you tell your friend what they should do and things go south, well, you told me, he told me, she told me, I should do this right here. So, you're not going to come to me and say, I told you. I tell you what I will say, I told you to do what you think is best. Because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to suffer from repercussions of whatever decision you make. So you just have to make the best decision. Somebody can give you some ideals, some different things, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. You got to make your own decisions. Some people want their friends to tell them what to do. Then when they get upset, something goes south, things go south. Well, I shouldn't have listened to you. Well, you're right. You shouldn't have listened to them, but you did listen to them. Don't blame them because you listened to them. And so now you lost a good friend because maybe they gave you the best advice they had. May not have been good advice, but that was the best they had. So that's the best they had to give you. Don't blame them because you came to them in the first place. Don't go to that person, ask for advice, and then when they give advice, now you're getting upset because they gave advice and it wasn't good. You maybe need to go to a specialist. If you need some financial advice, go to a financial advisor. You want some counseling, go to a counselor, go to a therapist. You want a mechanic, go to a mechanic. But go to the right person so you can get the right advice. So again, we talk about relationships, emotions. Some people are very emotional. Some people can't take things. Some people can go off and drop of a hat, and some people are passive. Some people are aggressive. Some people are passive aggressive. Some people can cut you down in a nice way. That's passive aggressive. There are people like that, and that's a way. And they use that. Some people use that as a weapon, a passive aggressive attitude, and they use that as a weapon because they know that gets to you. So we want to focus on all this month. I said we focus on different types of relationships, and some of the relationships we're going to have going to be intense. I'm going to have someone on later on this month who's going to talk about a relationship that was a pretty difficult relationship. But again, I want to just talk about different types of relationships, and I want to also, this is Black History Month, so if you got some ideas of Black History Month or there's some programs that that's going on, type it in here. Let us know. Let us make us aware of Black History program because again, we know February is the shortest month of the year, and that's Black History Month. It's even more so now. So many things are happening. We just have to be aware of who we are. I think it's important to recognize our history. I think we need to be prayerful too. We're talking about relationships. I don't know about you. Again, I get saddened. I mentioned briefly on last week. I get saddened when I see people who are nonviolent people who are being swept up off the streets because of ethnicity, because where they came from. I think there is a humane way of treating people, not inhumane, but a humane way of treating people. And that's the gospel. And I think that any Christian should understand there is a humane way of treating a person. Even if the person does you wrong, the Bible tells us to do unto us as others as we would have them to do unto us. There's no excuse for treating people inhumane. There's no excuse for that. I don't care that it's not biblical. And we should have compassion for those that are less fortunate than we are. We should not bar them, say, well, that's good for them. No, because you have to remember sometimes there have been times that you have not been where you're at. And so I think it's important that the true child of God should have compassion. And that's one thing that will motivate a good friendship. Some people are just heartless and they're callous and they see you going through things and they don't care less. The least that you can do for somebody, say, I'm praying for you. I've seen people who've gone through situations, and when they expect a friend to be their friend, never reach out to them or anything like that. And to me, as a friend, we can make excuses, but you should be there for a friend. And Scripture, a friend loves at all times. Brother Ezra said, God loves folks who we hate. That's true. And so we ought to have love because, some of us, the most unlovable person are, and those sayings, they that, deserve it the least, need it the most. And there's some people who's going to be so mean and so hateful, but and then they wonder why nobody want to be bothered with them. It's your attitude. We need to do an attitude check. So may I encourage you throughout the month of February, do an attitude check. Assess the type of friends that you have. If you have friends, all your friends are crooked, then you may have some poor judgment, and you have to check your judgment. Sometimes we make poor choices, and you got to make sure when you're dealing with your friends, make some good choices. Make people that are support you, that encourage you, that motivate you. Have friends and people in your life that's going to push you to be the best version you can be. Don't have people that's going to say something. And see, here's the thing about it. In a relationship, you don't want somebody that's going to be a yes man to everything you say and agree. I don't mind somebody saying, Brother Walton, Dr. Walton, you're wrong. And I'm going to ask myself, are they right? If they're right, then I'm going to make a change because I know I make mistakes. I'm human. Anybody acts like they're perfect all the time, they got a problem. And anybody who cannot take criticism, they're not going to grow. If you can't take criticism, you can't grow. And if you have a friend that uh, gives you healthy criticism, because sometimes criticism is good and sometimes it's warranted. If you got a friend that gives you healthy criticism and you can't take it, then that's a problem. You have to need to ask yourself, does what they say make sense? If it makes sense, you need to just work on yourself. Say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I've made mistakes with folks, and I'll apologize. I'll say I'm wrong. But sometimes people would be upset or offended by something that you say and just be misconstrued. I had a person one time, they were upset with me, and I went to them, I said, Sank, you're upset with me. And they said, because you said such and such, and what I said to them was totally different. They misheard what I said. And rather than coming to me, they just start acting strange. Go to that person. Go to that person. And Bible says, get understanding. And all that getting understanding. If a person's your friend, then they're gonna stay with it. A good friend is not gonna fall out with you easy. A good friend is not gonna fall out with you because somebody else says something. Because if someone else says something about me, a friend of mine, so and so says something, I'm gonna say, first of all, I said, do you have a problem with me going back to them sharing? Well, don't tell me anything that you don't want me to know, because sometimes people will just say anything, and they want you to be upset with the person. They not justifying. Real truth sometimes hurts. That's true. The truth hurts, and you got to be willing to accept it. If you want to grow, you got to be willing to accept the truth. And you can't have friends, people around you just gonna say yes, and knowing that you're wrong. Sometimes you gotta tell people, no, that's not wrong. I had a friend of mine I was talking, and they said, I want to bounce some things off of you. And I let them talk. I said, now, you know that don't make any sense to you. And they just started laughing. I said, you're right. But I said in love, and I correct them. They appreciate it. And so, there are times we have to be willing to handle the truth. Those saying, some people say you can't handle the truth. Well, some people can't handle the truth. And that's immaturity. But then too, there is a way to communicate to people too. Some people can talk to you any kind of way. The Bible says a soft answer turn away wrath. In a healthy relationship, you just don't talk to anybody any kind of way. Some people just go off on you when they talk to you. Go off on you. Well, I can't help it. That's where my mama was, my dad was. Well, it's time for you to break that curse. Time for you to talk, because I'm telling people, you're not just going to talk to me any kind of way. And you need to have, people need to respect you. Don't let people talk to you any kind of way. If they talk to you disrespect, say, I don't have time for this right here. There's a way of talking. But some people can't talk without yelling, raise the voice. When you're ready to calm down, then we can talk. But what you're not going to do is just talk to me any kind of way. And I don't care what your position, who you are, and the higher position is the greater responsibility, the respect that you should have for a person. As a pastor, as a leader, as a counselor, I don't just respond to people because of what I hear. I respond out of my relationship with that person. Sometimes people would treat you funny because of something they heard. And if you're spiritual, you should be above that. You should be more mature than that. And so again, we're talking about relationships, types of relationship. Hopefully you gotten something out of this. Read. Don't forget, share this with someone else. Share with your friends. Share with your family. Tell them, it's my turn now. We here every Monday, same time. And if there's something that you think that you want to share with us afterwards, again, a lot of times people will come to me after programs. They say, oh, I really enjoyed the program. I said, why didn't you say anything? Well, I don't know why I didn't say anything. I don't want you to be afraid. Matter of fact, I actually put a link on here for people who can come on here and say something. God bless it, Sister Menorah. So glad that each time you join us every week, and I appreciate it. I don't know if you're in the country, out of the country. That's my traveling friend. She's something being where I think I ain't gonna try to guess where yet, but that's my traveling friend. I thank God that you're able, and talk about a person being a friend. I would say anybody that knows Sister Deborah Menorah, she is a true friend. Me, in 24 I was in the hospital, and she came just showed kindness. She's just that type of person. Just a friend. The Bible says a friend in need is a friend indeed. And sometimes it's meant to say that some people are not your friend until they need. But then it also says a friend in need is that when you're in need and someone shows love for you, that means a lot. And I think too, A good friend needs to learn how to appreciate other people. Sometimes people have friends that they don't value their friend. Learn how to appreciate folks. Learn how to say thank you. Sometimes you can do folks some for somebody. They act like they're doing you a favor and you doing them a favor. Some folks talk to other grown folks if they are 8 years old because they can higher position. That's true, brother. Folks talk to you any kind of way. No, because sometimes I say, parents need to learn how to talk to your children. Because the Bible said parents do not provoke your children wrath. Parents need to learn how to talk to those kids with respect and talk to those kids like you got good sense. You can't just talk to them. And you want those kids to respect you, understand you. And then the kids learn their behavior. So we got to learn how to talk in front of our kids to other people because they're watching that. They're watching. They're watching you consciously and subconsciously. They're watching you. They're learning conflict resolution patterns by watching you. If you yell at folks and go off on everybody, guess what? Your kids gonna do it. Little kids will start fussing at their friends, and you wonder why they fuss because they see you. So we need to examine our relationship. What type of relationship do we have? Are there some areas where I can improve in my relationship with other people? What can I do better? Pray for your friend. If they're truly your friends, pray for them. Me and my friends, I will text them, I will call them. Invest in your friendship. Invest in those who you care about. Take the time to invest in them. It doesn't take much. Call a person, tell them you're praying for them, that you're thinking about them. That's what true friendship and relationships are about, building healthy relationships. We just about running out of time. If there are any comments, please let us know. Don't forget to share. Let me know if you hit that share button. Let me know. I want to know if you hit that share button. It don't take 2 seconds to hit that share button. Also, we on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. If you find under Dr. Anthony Walton, you find that you can subscribe to my YouTube. I don't do a whole lot of YouTube. This program is actually on my YouTube channel, but I haven't, and some of my sermons are on my YouTube channel, so you can subscribe to that. I'm just kind of getting into, encouraging people to subscribe to my. Now, Brother Ezra, he has a powerful YouTube channel. I don't know how many thousand. He does songs, he does sermon. So I encourage you to go to his YouTube channel. You can write that on there if you want to, Ezra, and let people know. But I mean, if I want a song, I'll call Ezra. I said, Ezra, I need to find this song right here. I wanted an old mass choir song. And Ezra, next thing I know, Ezra was emailing me a number of songs. I think one was a Deacon William Rice from Christ Temple. He was singing, I can't remember, a couple of songs he led, and those songs were powerful. Some of the old songs were just, I mean, they were not like those songs we sing now. Those old songs kind of stuck to your rib. Those are songs that just made you think and made you reflect on yourself. But matter of fact, Ezra sent that to me when my phone got lost. Somebody stole my phone. I lost a whole lot of stuff off my phone. So send me that. Oh, I think it was the mass choir or the state choir wanted to. Back in the day, we had some awesome choirs. Grace Apostolic Church had powerful choir. Christ Church had powerful choir. Christ Temple had powerful choir. Zion Tabernacle. A lot of the churches had some tremendous choirs. Agape, they have a beautiful choir even to this day. A lot of churches have choir, and we don't see those choirs like we used to, but they were very inspirational. See, Sister Jamie, God bless Sister Jamie. You need to invite a certain friend to sign up for therapy. It may bless his life. Just saying. Thank you, Sister Jamie. That's a friend. Recognize that another friend needs help, and that's true. Sometimes we need to recommend people that need help, or if you build a relationship with the person, that you can encourage them with certain people that do need help when it comes to relationships. And everybody, I will say this right here, sometimes people's relationship is based on what they've been taught. Have you seen patterns of healthy relationships? And unfortunately, some people have not seen healthy relationships. So it's important, especially when you have kids, that your kids see that you maintain a healthy relationship, because they mimic that. I want to be worthy. That's it. Send that song to me, Brother Ezra. Bishop Deacon Rice. I want to be worthy when he comes, worthy of his dying for me. Oh man, that just brought back a lot of memories from right there. Yes, sir. Send that to me. Send that to me tonight if you got it, Brother Ezra. Send it to me. Listen, I certainly appreciate. Hope you got something out of this program. Again, don't forget to share. I appreciate everyone all your comments on here. I appreciate each and every week that you that come on here. I have a guest that's supposed to be on next week if everything's going right. They have a very powerful, a powerful testimony, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. If they're supposed to be on next week or the week after, I'll know sometime by tomorrow. But I want you to just tune in. Tell your friends, tune in. It's my turn now. We love you. God bless you. You be encouraged. Be the best version of yourself that you can be. That's all you can do. God bless you. We love you. Take care of yourself.